And welcome back to Real Geek Media. It is Thursday, July 10th, 2025. I'm Hayden Stoll, joined by author Christopher Michael Blake. We're back for another movie review. This week, we are gooning it up with Slapshot. But first, before we get into the movie review, Christopher, how are you?
Hayden, everything's going well. I can't really complain. No cavities from the dentist today.
Hey.
So, yeah.
All right. Good news. So, is this our first? Have we done another sports movie? Is this our first sports movie?
Oh, geez. Let me think. Does Fight Club count?
Yeah. So, Slapshot. Now, have you seen this before, or is this your first time viewing?
My first watch ever. I mean, obviously I've heard a lot about this movie from the, being online. I think I picked this movie. It's one of the movies we wanted to review for this year. And, well, let's just say that I had a lot to say about this movie. So, like that.
Very good. I like it. So, by this point, I feel most people know what this movie is. Slapshot hockey movie from 1977, directed by Roy Hill, who also directed The Sting, amongst others. And, we have Paul Newman, teaming up again with him, playing an aging veteran hockey player in a small town America, minor league hockey team. And, this movie, it is sports based. It is comedic. There is violence. It also has a little bit of commentary on, the middle America cities and back in, this is 1970s, late 70s, the old mill closing down, and it's going to put a lot of people out of work. And, we've seen that theme in other movies before, but this is like a big point in this film. It's the team is going defunct as well. So it's your first viewing. I've seen this movie a million times. Like I've watched this thing so much. It's hard for me to recount how I felt when I first watched it. There is some classic lines, some classic characters, obviously some very iconic characters that the Hanson brothers, which is like a staple. If you're a hockey fan, you know these people, you know these characters. So you had a lot to say. So let's talk. What do you want to talk first here?
First off, I thought this movie, I thought it came in a little long, actually, at like 2 hours and some change.
Yeah.
And I felt like it could have gone longer. I really don't think they did the ending justice. I think you used the word stick the landing, and I thought that the plane crashed into the ocean and was in the black box was never found with the end of this thing. I felt it was really abbreviated. It was like, oh, hey, we have to cut this thing down and make it fit into an actual movie, so let's just end it here. The Hanson brothers were hysterical. I really enjoyed their characters. I thought Paul Newman was good as the aging hockey pro who is trying to generate interest in this team so it can get moved and he can kind of keep his career going while trying to save his girlfriend from leaving him at the same time, even though he's sleeping around and she's kind of doing the same thing. So you had, and then you had the I'm not going to fight pacifist hockey player who says this is demeaning our sport.
Ned Braden.
Oh, let me tell you something. What a wuss. But most of all, what really disturbed me about this movie was, like I said, the ending. Him coming on and just, I'm going to strip down and we're going to run on forfeit. What a terrible way to end that movie. If you had said, hey, look, they got crushed in the first period, in the second period, and they had to come out and go revert to what had made them winning players throughout the season, and now they had to goon it up, and he had to goon it up in order for them to win, that would have been a much better ending. But I get the feeling they were very short on time, and it was like, we can't have a sports movie go this long. I really want to compare this movie to Major League,
I could
except for the
s-
ending. You
I
got
could
the
see that a little bit. Yeah, I could see that.
so that's just my gut feeling is they want to relocate the team, and she,
Hmm.
the whole thing, and they got all these aging players coming out, and
Hmm.
yeah, so the coach who's basically going to have a job at the end of the year, and everything's kind of settled. It's very similar in terms of what's going on.
You could see where they drew some possible storylines from this film. Um, you know, we start off. They're playing skill hockey. They're trying to win games with skill, right? And once Reggie Dunlop, Paul Newman, he discovers that the team is going to relocate. This is the last season in Charlestown. He kind of gets the scheme. Going to get interest, and if the people are liking the fighting, and that's going to pack the house and get the fan base going, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to start gooning it up. And one of the things I liked about Paul Newman in this movie is, you have a legendary actor as the team leader, as the veteran, as the coach, and he gets to deliver these pregame and in between period speeches that I love. I love him in this movie. Like, I love when he's just going around, we're a better team. We got to do this. We got to do this. And you start to see when the Hansons are introduced, and they're kind of just like incredibly rah-rah that first time, where they're just kind of all in shock, like just let's relax, guys, because they're like cheering every word he's saying. And then when he starts to get to the point, like, let him know you're there, stick him in the ribs, let him know you're there, and the Hansons are all fired up. And you start to see, like, some of the players are buying into that, but you have Ned, and you have I don't know the other character with the handlebar mustache. You're just kind of like, bleed all over them. Let them know you're there. They're just kind of not into it, not buying it. But this has become the mantra of this team. They start to win. People start to show up. They get a booster club that follows them on the road. It's drumming up that interest, building the fan base. We're going to get sold to Florida. This whole bogus story that they concoct. And he does it cleverly through the use of a respected media journalist that covers the team. And he gets him to write the story about the Florida interest. They might be bought by this Florida, relocate to Florida. And, all the way he's going along with his own, crafted story here. Oh, it's in the paper. It must be. It's a respected journalist. The whole way through, getting the players. And one particular player that we see who is very influenced by Paul Newman's character is Dave Carlson, who is one of the younger guys on the team, and he's, I would take it more as a skill guy at the beginning of the movie. And he starts to really buy into the violence and the fighting and the gooning.
Is he the killer? Is that what his nickname was?
He takes on the nickname Killer.
Yeah.
Because he's just all about going at it, defending the coach. But you see throughout the film, Reggie Dunlop manipulating him. And, he sees him coming into the room, and then he just goes into acting and just is like, yeah, this might be my last year. I just don't got it anymore. I'm old. And the first thing the guy on the ice from the other team says in that game is, you got to hang it up, old man. And it just sets off Carlson, and he's going right at it. And, it's these little things throughout the course of the film. You see Reggie just really manipulate these guys into doing something that, he feels is going to, keep it around, keep his career around, keep the team around, and by the end of it, he's just exasperated, and he lets it all out at that finals game in the first, before the game starts. We're going to play old time hockey, and it's a really good performance by Paul Newman. I really think he did a really good job with this. It's got some, like I said, some classic one-liners in here. he gives a good performance. While it's comedic, he has, some serious things in there, and you could see just kind of how it's wearing on him by the end of the film. I it's an interesting film, like I said, because on its surface, it's a sports movie based on hockey. But like I had mentioned at the top of this review, we talk a little bit about the Middle America with the closing of the mill, and we've seen this in other things, like Gung Ho was another movie that had like the closing of the car factory, and they got to turn out so many cars, and you kind of start to see these types of films throughout like the 70s and 80s. But this is like a very American thing. This town was built around that, and all these people are now laid off, and that's like a little subplot that happens throughout the movie. And to your point about the ending and Ned Braden's character, who refuses all along to drop the gloves, to goon it up with the rest of the team. He even says to Reggie Dunlop, "We're here because I score goals." And Reggie counters, he said, "No, we're here because I get them fired up to play my way, and we win that way." And it's almost like, even with the way he manipulates like players like Carlson, it talks a little bit about like masculinity here. Like Ned doesn't want to do it, right? And you the way you even mentioned it before, he's just, this, he's he didn't even want to drop the gloves. He should have dropped the gloves. And I agree with you. I think that would have probably been a better ending if he's finally dropping the gloves and, doing what, all the other ones are doing. But
and the way you could have wrote it was, there's always scouts in attendance, right? Everybody's there to watch, because let's face it, it's the championship game. And if he had overheard some of those scouts talking about, "Oh, we really need brawlers in our league so we can get money and fans in the seats," if he had overheard that, and he had saw his ticket being punched to the big leagues that way, would that have changed his mind? What do you brought in then?
Fair question.
I don't know that he would have, because I think he was a purist at heart. But that's just my, a way that we could have maybe changed it up a little bit, instead of, okay, we're going to cut, and now everybody's fighting in the ring and all this, or in the hockey ring, and now it's, and he's still sitting there, and he's just like, "Oh, you know what? I'll just take my clothes off, and everybody else will get ejected except for me, and then we'll win by default."
Yeah.
Look, if you've ever watched the Super Bowl, in those last 5 minutes, no referees calling any penalties. You go out and mug somebody, murder them right on the field. What was the other movie we watched with Bruce Willis? It was Last Boy Scout.
Last Boy Scout.
So we did watch another
semi-sports movie there, yeah.
Yeah, yep. So, Billy Blanks is killing people on the field. But, look, it's the same thing in a championship game. You're not throwing the teams out because they're fighting.
Right.
You're going to let them get it out and then be like, okay, here's the penalties. Do a 3-on-3. Let's get this thing rolling.
Yep.
We're 15 minutes from closing this out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like the level of the violence when we start to see it, like the gooning it up. It's we are introduced to the Hansons. We see them, they're just kids. They're young. What are they, like 18, 19, and 20? And they bring their toys with them on the road. They're
cars,
they're kids, right? They're kids. And when they get their shot, and Reggie says, "All right, you guys are up," and they're just checking everybody, skating full speed, blasting people into the boards, using their sticks, hitting people with the sticks, taking slap shots into the organist's head. And, it's just like, everybody's like, what is going on? And one of my favorite parts was the pregame fight that they have, where they're on the road, the Booster Club followed them, and, it's pregame. No refs are out on the ice, and we got this full-on man-for-man brawl, full ice, everybody's fighting. And then when they line up for the national anthem, everybody's bloodied. They're just panning across all the faces. And the referee is just like, he's had it already. Game hasn't even started, and he's had it. He's standing there. They're playing the national anthem. He's turning around. He's looking forward again. Then he skates up to them and he's like, anything from you. I do clean game here and this and that. And and the one Hanson brother is like, shut up, try to hear the song. I love that scene. I love it. I think it's great. I think
even before that, you see Paul Newman trying to use his guile. He's sleeping with the goalie from the other team's girlfriend.
Yes.
And she kind of tells him, I'm in the muff.
Yes.
And that's just, he starts telling the goalie that. And next thing you know, he's chasing him around instead of following the puck. Yeah. And, he kind of figures out using his guile. And
that was the first
huge.
That was when it first clicked for him. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hand.
Yeah. Win by any way means possible.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how you win as long as you walk out the winner.
Yeah. And it changes the team's fortune.
Yeah.
When they start doing that, they start rolling off of wins after wins after wins. And it's, but all along, you have Ned who's just, I'm not doing it.
I see through you. He's the smartest one of everybody.
Yeah. I didn't even say that. He was an educated, what did they say? He went to Princeton or he had a degree. And, they were, why are you still even playing? You're smart. He had a love of hockey, but
he treated his girlfriend like shit though.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's such a weird thing because like the one time she comes in dolled up at the end and he's just like, oh, like all along you've had her. And it took for him to see her in makeup for him to just
look. She was simping so hard, and obviously that's not what he wanted.
Right.
And there's no way that relationship's going to sustain at that point. I mean, it's just
it can't. There's no way. There's no way.
He's got to find a girl who doesn't respect him so that he can simp over her.
There you go.
And that's what it is.
There you go. There you go. So your first watch, and you said, I want to hear, like, did you think the hockey scenes were good? Did you think it? I mean, this is 1977, right? So there was a lot of goons, there was a lot of violence, and back in the day with that. What'd you think? I didn't take you much for a hockey fan.
I'm not. I mean, like I said, I used to watch a lot more. I thought the end scene where they bring all the old goons out from the opposite team to kind of mitigate their team kind of remind me of Theta Xi in our final football game. It's like, we got to bring all these old timers out to beat these guys because obviously we can't do it. Am I wrong?
I love that reference. I love that
truth. It's the truth.
Yeah.
For those of you in the audience who don't know, that was an inside joke. Basically, that's what happened. We got to the football championship game undefeated. And, of course, this fraternity brought all the old timers out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like guys who we'd never seen.
Guys in their 30s.
Oh, it was just, and, of course, we got smoked as a result. But we weren't on our game. I mean, there were several factors. But that's another story. I really enjoyed the Hanson brothers with the way they played the game and how they were just kind of fucking people up.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what I enjoyed. I enjoyed seeing that. I enjoyed seeing Paul Newman actually get to meet the owner, actually. And turns out it's a female.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, hey, you could sell us. We're a hot commodity right now. She goes, yeah, I could. But I make more money actually selling you guys off and taking a huge tax loss. And it's like so crushing. It's like, know you're playing with people's lives.
Yeah.
That, this town and everybody else, and you're just doing this for profit.
And that's maybe another theme of, like I said, we said face value, this is a sports movie, right? But you have the commercialism part of it. They're people's lives. That's their careers. And after that, what do they have? Most of those guys don't have anything. What are they going to do? And that's a tough thing to come to realization of.
The other thing I really liked about this movie was the promotional aspect of everything. Paul Newman's paying the ambulance outside to drive around and blare the siren, before
so
it's like, oh, you got anybody you want to put in the back for tonight? It's like, I'm not even paying you for tonight. What are you doing here? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's small things like that he did to draw people in.
Yeah.
It was interesting
Yeah.
to me. I mean, like I said, this was not the ending of this really just blew it for me. I maybe got off to a little bit of a slow start too. But I mean, the middle parts, once the Hanson brothers kind of show up and Paul Newman kind of starts sleeping with some people, you start to see who these people are, their characters in this movie. They start to grow on you a little bit. And then you got the owner wanting to just do a lot of, he's looking for another job. It's like,
yeah.
So, I mean, was it good? Yeah, I'm happy with the first watch, but I rewatch it? Probably not. It was just, again, 2 hours to put into a sports movie that, if I could fast forward through the first half hour and then maybe not watch the final championship game, I'd probably watch it again.
Did you like the opening scene? The interview with the French goalie? Go to the box, 2 minutes, you feel shame, and then you get free.
I forgot all about him, actually. Because he's one of these guys who's chasing after girls and everything's, but he doesn't speak English really well, so he doesn't understand what's kind of going on. He keeps looking for another job on top of this, and so no, he was okay. I mean,
I like the opening scene. I think it's because he is heavy French Canadian, with the accent, and it's like he's doing this TV interview with the sportscaster, and you can't really understand what he's saying. And after it's all said and done, the sportscaster go, "Oh, I thought that went well." Like, okay, all right. I thought it was. I like the opening scene. It's just brief, boom, boom. But he does say, like, the line that I like is when he's talking about taking the penalties and oh, that's bad, that's no good, and you go to the box, 2 minutes, you feel shame, and then you get free. I like that. I think that's a clever line.
The other movie this kind of reminded me of a little bit is Bull Durham.
A lot of I thought the same. The team traveling on the bus, I thought there was a lot of similarities there.
The old veteran, in the movie Bull Durham, he's getting ready to set that record, and then you got the owner, she's kind of like, I'll sleep with one person every year, and he's constantly chasing her around. And in this movie, Paul Newman's constantly chasing his ex-girlfriend around.
Mm-hmm.
So same thing.
Yeah.
So to an extent.
Yeah. I drew the parallel with the when the team's on the road on the bus, because you got a lot of scenes like that in Bull Durham, and you had a lot of scenes like that in the Slapshot, where they're just all sitting on the bus and playing cards or whatever. So what did you think of the the relationship with Paul Newman and or Reggie Dunlop and Ned's wife? How he's kind of like, and he really treats you like crap, and he just is kind of like trying to take her under his wing. It was interesting.
Look, that had potential too, and I don't think it was actually realized in the movie. The only reason he wants to sleep with her is to fire Ned up.
Yeah.
That's it.
He's angling the whole movie. Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think he would sleep with anything in a skirt. That's the kind of guy he is.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually think it would have been better if those two had maybe hooked up at the end. I mean, again, you would have to do extensive rewrites to how things. Instead, he's going to Michigan to go follow his.
Yeah, Minnesota or whatever. Yeah.
I just was like, what?
Yeah.
That was, again, everything was just kind of like thrown out there at the end. And, I was just like.
Yeah. It resolves very quickly. It is long. It is long. 2 hours, just over 2 hours that's a long movie, especially for like a sports comedy kind of movie. So I agree with you. It does feel like, what do we do? Just kind of cut this thing, get it to 2 hours, and then there might have been more left that tied some of these things together better.
Well,
but
if I remember correctly, this thing was a long movie. So maybe I shouldn't be shocked that this director would do a long movie. I just really was just put off by the ending. Some naked guy running around would probably be ejected instead of You know,
Oh man. Yeah.
I don't. Again, that's just my opinion. What do I know?
Yeah. What do you think about the violence? I mean, it's part of the sport, and especially the fighting is part of it. Um, I feel like this movie really, like, minor league hockey really culture owes a lot to this film. And I'm sure this has influenced NHL players in some shape or form, whether they're tough guys or hard nosed players. Um, you almost it's very celebrated throughout the film, and I think it's an important part of it. Whether it be the culture of it and the shocking kind of nature of some of these scenes where when they're stitching up Killer's lip, and they really go out of their way to make you see them pulling the string through.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, it's I don't think, like, on your first watch you may expect something like that to pop up, but it's right there in your face. And again, this is 1977. We had Rocky, the scene with the whatever, cut me Mick. You get some of that stuff. You're just like, whoa. I think the violence is a very important point to this film.
One of the things that maybe you can explain this to me. What's the tinfoil in the hands?
I've never researched that, to be honest with you.
The only thing I can think is when you punch somebody, you break them open. That's the only thing I could kind of maybe think.
Yeah.
Because I would think that you're also getting on the receiving end where you wouldn't be able to close your hands afterwards. I'm like, I don't know if that's the smartest thing. It's like putting glass in your hands. And it's like, okay, it's
And then when they're Reggie Dunlop's reaction when he sees them putting on the foil, he's just like, Jesus. It's just,
these guys are never hitting the
ice.
Keep these guys back at the hotel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he was. He's like, I'm not even going to do this. Nope. Until he does.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Once he gets one look, it's like, yes, they got something here.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, do you feel like it holds up over time?
I think it held up very well, actually. I was surprised about. You don't see any hockey movies that aren't. Your hockey movie I remember is the one where he turns into a ballerina or whatever, and he goes skiing at the Olympics.
Yeah. Cutting Edge.
I'm sorry, you remember that?
But
it was played all the time on HBO or Showtime when we were kids. I mean, it's what it was.
Well, Mighty Ducks.
Yeah. Okay, you got me on that one.
A Miracle.
I haven't seen Miracle still.
Miracle's a fantastic movie.
I've heard. Yeah.
And I agree. I think this thing held up better than I guess I expected it to. And I think some of it's just because it still feels gritty. Like these players, it's, you see them. I mean, every game they play, somebody's cut and bleeding. Everybody is banged up.
And then they have to go chase the fans.
Hockey, it's not a sport. Like, you have to be tough to play this sport, whether you're a guy dropping the gloves or not. You have a toughness. You're hitting people. You're getting hit yourself. You can fall down to the ice. The ice isn't soft. Everything's going to hurt. So, there is an element of, you have to be tough to play this sport, just from the physical toll it takes. So, I think it aged well. It is still very gritty, and, some of the way, like the rah-rah speeches in the locker room, I still get behind those. I still love those, I still will say, like, at random, let him know you're there. Because I just think that's hilarious. Like that speech is, I think, I don't know if you can, they're like, Hollywood today is full on, well, let's remake this, remake that. I don't think this is something that would be remade. And if they did, I'd be disappointed if they did it, because I feel like this is something that just is perfect the way it is. just leave it alone. It's a classic. I'm glad you picked it so we could watch it, because I haven't watched this and it's probably been maybe like 10 years since I've seen it. And, I felt good watching it again. It did. Yeah. Yeah. It brought back a lot of smiles.
I had a good time picking it. I've tried to pick movies this year that, were fun. I didn't want like artsy some stuff. I wanted fun movies to watch. And I think this one hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. Yeah.
This one in next week or 2 weeks from now.
What's that?
This one ended when we're watching.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for this for 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorites.
I've already watched it. Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, I watched it like the other day. I was like, oh, I gotta watch this now. So yeah.
Well, let's give a final verdict before we get into what's on deck.
Just my final thoughts. Again, after the first 20 minutes into the championship game, I liked it. I liked it a lot. But it was just the slow open, and don't get me wrong, the slow open builds. It goes someplace though, so it's not like it's useless. The end was useless. I really did not like the end of this movie. It seemed like they just tried to. All right, we have to wrap this thing up and go home. That's just what it seemed to me, or the writer's strike happened or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. This is a classic film for me. Yeah, I don't watch it often, but yeah, it's still fun. Holds up. If you've never seen it, give it a shot. If you're a hockey fan, I'm sure you've seen this movie before. Yeah, Slapshot. Check it out.
Hayden, we gotta go into what time it is. Box office.
Yes, let's do it.
You know what time that is?
Oh man, you need like theme music when you put the title belt on.
I am a FBD. Don't fuck with me.
I was thinking it would play the Stone Cold, the glass breaks, and then the belt.
Oh, I can't do Hulk Hogan. Come on.
You can do Hogan.
Fat ball dude. Come on, man.
I am a fat bald dude.
All right, Hayden. So it sounds better coming from me. I can't carry a note.
That's why I'm not a singer.
Me neither. Hayden, we reviewed 3 movies 2 weeks ago. Remember what those 3 movies were?
Ooh. Let me see. Going to the old archives. See if I can find it. Was it 28 Years Later, F1 and Megan 2.0?
Hayden, there was a clear-cut winner this week.
Oh.
Wasn't even close.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
Let's go.
28 years later, you said 45 million.
Mm-hmm.
I said 30. Actual retail number, 30.
Oh, on the money.
On the money.
Nice.
F1, you said 80 million. I said 72. Actual retail number was 57.
Wow.
Megan 2.0, you said 15. I said 9. Actual retail number was 10.2.
You got it. Sweep.
Oh, man. Let me tell you, I got the broom out for that one. I took it out. It's tough.
Down the block.
It's tough because if there's 4 movies to choose from and you split, or you only 2 movies, it's tough some weeks. But this week we got 3 movies. We got an opportunity for you to win it back.
All right.
And we're gonna start off with the Man of Steel, Superman.
Superb.
And I'll give you the opportunity to go first on this one.
Ooh. Superman. This is gonna be a tricky one for me. I'm gonna go 65.
Wow. Okay.
And I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
After you pick. Oh, I'll do it.
No, go ahead.
I think this movie is going to appeal to kids with the dog. And, I think kids are going to be, this is kind of like a fun superhero. Where in the ways where Zack Snyder's Superman was more heavy and a little more adult themed, this looks and feels like it's much more family friendly as far as like the character and if you're including like Crypto the dog, I really think like that's a hook for kids. So I think it'll do pretty good. Whether it's good or not, I still think it's going to make some money this weekend.
I agree with you. I think the numbers could be higher though.
Okay.
I think this is the box office movie of the summer. That's my honest opinion. I mean, I can't think of one that's. I mean, what was the biggest one of the summer so far that made 100 million? It was
F1.
No, that wasn't it. Lilo and Stitch, right?
Oh yeah. That made a lot of money.
I mean, even
Jurassic Park made a lot of money worldwide.
Look, don't get me started. My head already hurts. I'm gonna go 72.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go higher.
Okay.
I would even go as high as 80 almost, but I'll stick with 72 as my safe zone bet. I just feel like this is the movie that you can bring your 9 or 10-year-old to.
Yes.
And not worry about it getting too bad.
Agreed.
Agreed.
100% agreed.
They might walk out a Democrat though, but that's I know. The next one is I Know What You Did with My reboot. I mean, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Is that coming out already?
July 18th. Next weekend, I'll give you the opening number here. I think this will do well. I think I'm going to go 17. And that might be a bit of nostalgia on my part. That it might overplay a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think what other horror movies are coming out. I really can't think of any that are like going to be big.
Is this going to be R-rated or is it?
I got to imagine it would be. But I mean, this looks exactly the same as.
Let me see if I can
I Know What
find
You
it.
Did Last Summer. And I don't know why they're bringing back the original cast.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessary. I don't know. I don't see it. Okay. I haven't seen a lot of trailers for it, so I'm not really sure. 17.
No, you're not wrong with that.
I enjoyed the original. The sequel is not good. I still enjoy watching it though.
Jack Black.
Yeah, Jack Black, the pool guy. 17 feels pretty like a pretty solid guess. I might just go 15.
Oh, I wouldn't blame you for saying that. I really wouldn't.
As much as I don't want to be within two of you.
No. I felt the same
Yeah.
way going 72. I was like, I could go 80, but
Yeah.
Here's the toss-up. Before I give you the movie, I'll give you the option to go first or last.
I will go first.
The movie is The Smurfs.
Now,
The Smurfs decide the belt this week.
how in the world there's a new Smurf movie. Does anybody know there's a new Smurf movie?
I do, because the trailers have looked terrible.
I don't know. I may have seen one trailer in all this time that this movie's coming out. And now I know, is it Rihanna?
Yes.
That's playing Smurfette this time. Man, I feel like this should be more known than it is. And I think that's going to hurt this movie a little bit because
A little bit?
this is going to be a massive flop. I feel
Look,
like
it's the Smurfs haven't been on TV for almost 40 years at this point. The kids today really don't know.
Yeah. I just want to see, because I know the other movies that were in like the 2010s. I think they did pretty good.
I don't think they did.
So Smurfs 2, this is 2013. Budget of 105 million, box office 347 million. Right? That's solid.
It is. Is that worldwide though?
That's worldwide. And that's okay. I just want to kind of see 2011 Smurfs film, budget 110, box office 563. Okay, so it dropped 200 million. After the sequel, so that leaves the new one, and man, I don't know. This thing is going to be a bomb. It's going to be a bomb. Who in the world? Let's say still it's the summer and kids are going to go see it. 35. And I might be low.
I think that's low.
I might be low. But there are some points. Like that generation is a whole 10 years older now from those previous two Smurfs films. There's no trailers around or anything for this thing.
You got me second guessing myself. I was going to go a lot lower here.
A lot lower.
I was. Now I'm sitting here thinking, I don't have to go that low now. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, oh.
I don't know. I mean, now I'm looking at the director. Okay. He's directed the Shrek 1, 2, 3, Shrek Forever. He's done all the Madagascar movies, maybe the Puss in Boots movies. So this is the guy that he's got a track record of solid animated movies. If that says anything. Yeah. So the man knows how to put these things together. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe I'm low. I don't know. This is a tough one. When does this come out? What?
Same week as I don't know what you did last summer. I mean, I know what you did last summer.
Okay. Well then, yeah, I mean, Superman is still going to be around. Jurassic Park is still going to be around. That's all going to
Yeah, but this is not who you're aiming the movie towards. You're aiming it towards those kids who are 800 at this point.
The young kids, yeah. Yeah.
You can pack them in on a hot summer's day.
Yep.
Parents kind of just can sit there for 2 hours and just zone, and let the kids eat popcorn and throw up afterwards.
Just another summer day at AMC.
I'm trying to think. Now, you got me double thinking myself here. Like if I was gonna come up with a number, I would have said like 23.
That's not a bad guess, but
now you got me thinking, would 43 be better? You're giving me all these reasons why it could work, and I'm like, well, I wasn't gonna give you my money at first, but now I'm like, hold on, Somewhat Gargamel's got a brother, and Papa Smurf has a brother, and you got Sim Smurf and all these other, Chad Smurf and every other Smurf, and
it's just,
we can do this,
Yeah.
It's like all the guys that Smurf that's put in the friend zone. It's like, okay, we're good. We got Chad Smurf now,
They're all related, which is weird too. So
hey, that's a redneck Smurf problem, not. Okay. Geez, now you got me thinking 35 was a good number. You know what? I gotta stick to my guns on this one. I just don't. I can't see this being like a Shrek movie.
I don't either.
I'm gonna go 23 million, and I'll stick with 23 million.
All right. 23.
Yeah. And again, you gave me all those numbers, and I'm like, wow, those are pretty impressive numbers. But
I don't feel like this one has the hype that those did. But now, granted, those movies, there was not Smurf movies, right? It was the cartoon when we were kids on Saturday mornings, and then there was nothing for all those years. And those movies were probably more nostalgia related, like, oh yeah, Smurfs, bring my kids. Now it's been 10 years since, or plus maybe 12 years since Smurf 2. I don't know. I mean, it's like, is there still an audience for this?
My problem with it is this. You take Smurfs, you make them trolls.
Right.
It's the same movie.
Right.
Except you switch out, Jason Bieber or whoever, Justin Timberlake, and the girl who does the cup song. So that's what it is.
Right. Yep.
That's just my opinion, and I'll stick with
Yeah,
that.
that's fair.
I might have set myself up with that last one, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a tough one to call.
2 weeks from now, Hayden, we go to the mall.
I'm ready for the mall. What kind of mall?
The shopping mall.
Oh, shopping mall.
I guess I've already watched, so I'm not going to give anything away, but I'm excited about it. Come back with the news.
We'll come back with the news 2 weeks from now. Join us, Shopping Mall. We will have potentially a special guest with us.
I wouldn't spay on that yet. I mean,
Potentially,
we're in talks. We're in discussions.
We'll see. But we are going to be talking about Shopping Mall. Thank you for joining us to review Slapshot. We appreciate you taking the time. And if you like what you see, leave us a like, leave us a subscribe. Polish that belt, sir. It's coming my way from 2 weeks.
You better go to eBay and go purchase one.
Stick around. We'll be back with the news.